Hello guys and welcome to episode 3 of my Rome 2 Total War campaign, Caesar and Gaul, playing as the Romans. Today I'm going to be continuing with Caesar, hopefully taking some more land today, but we're going to have to see how we do because Caesar's been left here to replenish his men and I will try and get him into my own province eventually. The reason I haven't this turn is because we have an army of the Tilingi coming very close to Octodoron, so we're probably going to have to fight that off at the end of the turn. Then, in the meantime, we have our army at Massilia. Well, this is at Narbonadius, sorry. We're waiting for this to build itself up so that we can move it out. It's just, the trouble is at the moment, due to the difficulty level and the stress on the public order, leaving that settlement is less than ideal at the moment. So let's see what my spy can do. Not really very much. I'm just keeping an eye on the Ruteni at the moment so they don't attack me with that huge army. And we've got obviously this army waiting in Octodoron. So no more moves to do this turn. Probably best if I just click the end turn button and we see what happens with the Tilingi next turn. Okay, so rebellion imminent in Helvetia. Public order in this province is critically low, and that is here where we are now being raided by the fury of Sabazios. Not good at all, because the last thing we need to happen is for this army to make rebels appear, and then we get attacked by rebels, and then this army. That's gonna hurt us a lot. But what I might be able to do to prevent this from going any further is actually using Caesar to collect units from this army and attack the fury of Sabazios. So let's exchange some units. We can actually take out some of the other less replenished legionaries and replace them with more replenished units. So I'm going to add one Celtic skirmisher unit of 5 legionaries, and we're going to take out the Celtic skirmishers and the legionaries which are heavily damaged. That will give us like a full army which we can then use to face off against the fury of Sabazios. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, I'm not sure if we are actually going to be able to because this is actually in forced march stance. That was a bit of a silly move. Okay, so instead, it looks like you're going to just have to wait it out, which is unfortunate to say the least. Okay, well, just to be safe then, I'm going to have to retreat this army and put Caesar in Octodoron instead. Now it's going to help the rebellion take one more turn or a couple more turns to actually occur, so that's going to be helpful anyway to do that. But if we now get attacked in Octodoron, we're going to suffer a morale loss due to the forced march stance, which is going to be an issue. Over in Narbonadius, the happiness is going to stay relatively the same for a while. Let's just have a look at the public order and how it's doing. So we've got cultural differences basically making most of the province unhappy. Hopefully eventually I'll be able to recruit a dignitary which will be able to fix that. But that's really up to when I've researched the technology in order to recruit dignitaries in the first place. In the meantime, there's not much else I can do, so I'm going to have to again click the end turn button. Okay, so luckily we didn't get attacked, and it means I can set Caesar to a normal stance and we can actually have a huge battle against the fury of Sabazios. In the meantime, the 3rd Legion can travel back to Octodoron.
We cannot follow this order.
So we are at a nice advantage here because our legionaries outshine the short swords of the Tilingi quite greatly. Then they have a couple of Celtic warriors and some Celtic slingers on quite a lot of Celtic slingers, there could be an issue because I am lacking heavily in skirmish forces. Either way, let's go ahead and fight this on the battle map with the reinforcements from Octodurn. We're going to wait for the fog to go away just so that you guys have a better view of the battlefield, unless it wants to stay foggy. But no, we can get it nice and dry, so that's going to work out nicely. So anyway, let's have a look. Now, somebody in the last Caesar and Gaul episode told me to turn off formation attack so that they come out of formation and swarm the units when they engage, and it probably seems like quite a good idea, although I do like the way the formation attack is a feature in Rome 2 Total War. Now anyway, in this battle overall I'm going to have to rely on my light horse advantage, because the enemy do have their own light horses, and my artillery advantage. My artillery can obviously sit behind my men and it'll be safe for most of the battle, but I'm going to have to be very careful about using these horsemen to kill the slingers, because the slingers will actually do a lot of damage to my cavalry if I'm not careful. And we have a couple of Celtic warrior units to keep the flank safe, and some skirmishers which can head up ahead in order to engage the slingers. I'm going to keep my general with the army, so that's Caesar, and hopefully he can keep the morale high enough in order to win the battle today. But what I'll probably do, I'll try and turn off formation attack, and we'll see how this goes throughout the battle. But for the meantime, I'm going to keep it that way as we advance towards the enemy. Now they might actually come towards me, which is helpful, to say the least, because it means my artillery can just fire from where they stand and I won't have to move them at all.
Now to arms.
So I'm going to set them to explosive rounds, and hopefully some of the missiles will fly over the front of these slingers and go straight into these short swords. You can also use poison rounds with the Roman onagers, but I'm not going to use those purely because I don't think they're that effective against a moving army. The reason they are kind of forced to run towards me is mainly due to the fact I have artillery.
Warriors eager for blood.
So now I'm basically running up my forces that have come to reinforce. These are like throwaway units because they're a garrison, they will replenish easily on their own. Looks like the enemy are now in range though, and are going to start attacking my skirmishers. So I'm going to have to move my skirmishers forwards to range in which they can actually attack.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
I'm going to turn off formation attack now, and we shall charge towards the enemy. The reason I'm doing this is basically because I want to get the jump on them and attack them how I like, rather than let them attack me how they want.
Horsemen!
So we're going to engage this slinger unit that's left out on the left, while the rest of my legionaries attack them in the front. We're going to stop these catapults from firing. I'm going to withdraw these light horse because they've engaged with the Oathsworn, and that is not what I want to happen. Cavalry in the meantime can swing around the back of these units.
The men are wavering.
We've got one of my legionary units suffering. Let's inspire him to stay in the battle.
Our general is under attack.
Mounted warriors!
And let's relieve these legionaries of the short swords by charging them in the back.
Horsemen!
You can use this horseman to clear up some more of the slingers while engaging into the back of these short swords as well. So we've broken through at certain areas, and it's breaking up a lot of my legionaries.
The men are wavering.
I think the reason that one of the legionary units took so much damage is because it wasn't using formation attack, and I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think not using formation attack is that much of an advantage over using formation attack. But it looks like we won the battle nonetheless, and I'm actually going to continue it to run down the enemy general. And we can get also Caesar to jump into the battle and run down some of these men. We'll spread out the horsemen, and they can chase all the way to these Celtic slingers. So I want to kill as many of these Oathsworn as possible. Oathsworn are horrible to fight against in melee. If I'd put a legionary unit 1v1 versus an Oathsworn unit, Oathsworn would have destroyed them. And it was pretty lucky that the enemy didn't actually use the Oathsworn throughout the battle to swing it in their advantage. So now we're just slowly running them down.
Horsemen!
Probably the best way to do it would be to push out my units actually ahead of the Oathsworn themselves, and then all of the horses can pick their targets. And that is a very swarmed unit. Let's just quickly speed this up. Hopefully, the general is now dead. Meanwhile, ranking up all of my horsemen. Looks like Caesar's also helping cleaning up. Good job done there, I think.
The enemy general is dead.
See, the enemy general is officially dead, which is good. So let's go ahead, quit the battle. Decisive victory for us. 579 losses and 2,292 for them. That is job well done by Caesar. Okay, so we're going to kill the captives.
Waiting for orders.
And Caesar has increased in rank once again. So we did lose a lot of men. Let's see what we can give him as a new skill. And there is some pretty interesting things that come with him being a strategist. For example, the +4 replenishment rate for all units is very nice. And I think that might be exactly what I take. Logistics. It means all of these legionaries will get their men back sooner than later.
Commander.
And we can take this guy out of force march stance and put him back into Octodoron to sort out the public order.
Ready for battle.
And we will actually recruit some more men to help him deal with that. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chase down the fury of Sabazios, and we're just going to auto-resolve this battle and kill off this army.
Is that all?
So the military traditions have now also increased with the 1st Legion. And we're going to go with unrelenting force. So, with the Tilingi's armies dead, it leaves their land incredibly vulnerable to attack. And that's what I might take advantage of. So if I go into force march, we can travel speedily towards Turicum.
Destination reached.
So instead of taking out the Averni or attacking to Segodunum of the Ruteni, I am going to attack the Tilingi instead and hope that I can hold out long enough in Narva Martius or Upper Octodoran before they actually come and attack me.
Commander.
So, we have a little bit of money to spend. Let's see what we can spend it on. We can increase his Roman village. It could help with the culture conversion. Although that doesn't look like it's going to be the case because it's a fishing village. So instead, it would probably be worth upgrading some of my home provinces instead, unless there is something I can do in Octodoran now. We're waiting for the amphitheatre to finish. That will help with the public order there. But meanwhile, in Vicellum or Medlan, we can also get a amphitheatre. Could be something to think about. Else, we may as well think of upgrading to a shrine of something. So, a shrine of Minerva could be useful. That increases the research rate. Then we have the plus 5% unit morale upon recruitment for the Shrine of Mars. That could be nice if I were to build armies in these provinces, but I doubt I'm going to. It really depends. We can also go for something like fountains or a water tank, but these are all pretty useless. My food's fine for now. So let's go with the Shrine of Minerva. Spy is still there. We've got the Second Legion not really being able to do much, so I'm not going to recruit anything there yet. And I think everything is fine. So again, let's go to the next turn. So I'm going to take Caesar to the border, and we shall leave him there in range to attack Turicum next turn. And the reason I'm going to wait is because of the replenishment of some of these legionary units, and also because he's actually in force march stance. Now if we move a bit further, I may be able to move him back into our province and kind of scout in the meantime. Yeah, so there we go. We can see that they have quite a few armies there, so I have just about enough movement points to move back to my own province, so I continue to replenish this turn, and I've got the information that I need to see if I can actually attack that settlement. Okay, so Floozy, Gaius Julius Caesar, plus 5% morale for all units would replace plus 1 authority. I'm going to do that. That seems like a good choice. And we've of course got the Levy Freeman of the 3rd Legion recruited, and that's officially a happy settlement. It's going to slowly go up by plus 2 per turn. Now that's going to mean that the army is actually going to have to sit there for a while, which is kind of annoying, but at least Caesar will be taking more land. Now, I'm really hoping to get this army out of Narva Martius. The technology is finished next turn for multilingual, which will improve public order by plus 2 for all provinces, and then I can go towards researching for dignitaries. But again, it looks like I am sitting here with nothing else to do other than spend my money, so we're going to build another Shrine of Minerva in Liguria, and that should be that.
Fear is your lot. Now come the ravens, beaks agape for your guts, eager for our sword work.
Well, the Cadurci have declared war on me, and their allies are the Vocontii and the Allobroges. Actually, they're my allies, sorry. The Allobroges and the Vocontii, and they should help me against the Cadurci, should they choose to attack me. This is fine, I guess, and I'm just going to have to make do, I guess. So multilingual is now done. We have Domitia and Strabo, a hidden agent exposed. That's by Segodunum. and we have now got a mission failed to actually capture that because I chose not to go there. Instead, we have a mission to defeat the Howling Wolves owned by the Tilingi, which is probably going to happen, so that's absolutely fine. We have a population surplus in Narbo-Anensis. So let's go and expand here and create a villa. Then we can get motivated populace in Liguria, that's fine, and an encouraged populace in Serbia. Amphitheatre complete in Octodoron, so that's now at +5 happiness, and we now have a harsh winter to deal with, which is going to greatly affect the army of Caesar as he travels towards Turicum, which is just great. Anyway, we're not actually in range to hit Turicum, and if we're going to be standing in enemy territory as well, the attrition is going to be crazy. Let's just hope that I can actually attack something this turn, else my men are going to struggle heavily with this winter, and it looks like just by travelling across the land that they lose men. So instead of attacking them, the game continues to be a pain in the ass. We're going to have to force march in the opposite direction and actually leave Turicum in the meanwhile. But I am incredibly concerned about this army actually destroying itself due to the winter. Anyway, let's have a look for dignitaries. Now, dignitaries are what I need in order to control the happiness of my settlements much better. So it won't be under the military, could be under culture. Don't think it's here. No, maybe it's on the other side. Support for Caesar, maybe. That will make champions. This will enable the recruitment of dignitaries. So there we go. One turn until that's complete. Next time we can use our money to actually recruit one.
We hunger for battle.
But in the meantime, we are just going to have to wait around. I was really hoping that we'd have a nice battle against the Tilingi again, but unfortunately not the case. So let's end the turn. So Mark Antony has been adopted, and we're waiting another turn for the actual technology that I want to complete. The reason we had to do the other one first is because it's the technology I need in order to get the next ones. But it's time to continue to move towards Octodoron, because really it's just gonna kill my army standing around in this winter. Even traveling through it, you can see it is just destroying it. And if I'm not careful, I will lose a couple of units, I think. But I'm just hoping I can get near enough to Octodoron that they actually start replenishing rather than killing themselves, which is not exactly ideal. So very hard is making it very hard for me, unfortunately, and just nothing is progressing, and it must seem pretty boring to watch currently, even after the amazingly big battle I had earlier. But either way, another end turn. Gonna just have to wait for the winter to pass. Hopefully be able to recruit some men and stuff.
Is that all?
Dignitaries maybe. Standing next to Octodoron seems to have fixed my problem, but it's going to take a while for all of the army to replenish, and I'm not going to be able to move them out until the harsh winter's finished anyway. Anyway, the villa's been done, and we can either go with a herding ground or a farm. I'm going to go with a herding ground just so that we get the extra little bit of money. And hopefully this technology will actually finish this turn, because last turn it didn't seem to. And that is job done. So again, let's click the end turn button. I can't say this is the most exciting campaign so far, but hopefully the enemies are having fun moving through the frozen winter. It's really annoying because it's giving to the Tilingi a massive chance to build up their forces again, and I didn't have the range in order to attack them, so I had to retreat, and then by retreating it basically killed more of my men through attrition, and it's just really, really annoying. So I think it's like one more turn and the winter should be done. Hopefully we can go back to where we were and actually kill the Tilingi once and for all. But again, not enough money to do anything useful. For some reason, this repay debts is not researching properly. That is becoming quite annoying. Well, anyway, let's end the turn again. Let's see what happens. Now I don't know what's happening here. My technology is supposed to be completing at every turn, but apparently it just doesn't want to. Maybe it's because it's the winter and it somehow stops my technology from advancing. That'd be quite annoying though, to be quite honest. So instead, let's go for common weights and measures and see if that even advances, because it seems pretty broken at the moment. Faction encountered, the Auski. We got a faction destroyed, the Volcae, and the construction complete of the herding ground. Now while this is all going on, I am sorting out the public order in some of my provinces, so hopefully these armies that are staying there for public order purposes will be able to move on. But let's have a look at what we can do in Medland. I think I may go with the cattle trader, and then what we do in Vasellum when we have the money is build a herding ground to increase the money this cattle trader creates through livestock.
Commander.
Narba Martius has actually got worse in terms of the public order due to events, apparently. Let's have a look at how Rome's doing up here, though. So we have the Proconsulate of Gallia. Gaius Julius Caesar still the highest in terms of gravitas. Not sure if that even causes a civil war in this particular DLC, but I think, unfortunately, that's going to have to be about it for today. Not really much gone on, just the pain in the ass winter causing me to have to stagnate all of my armies towards towns, which is annoying, and giving my enemies a chance to build up again and sort of sorting out the public order for me. But again, with my technology just not working, I haven't had a chance to even recruit dignitaries to start on the culture in different areas. So many different problems occurring, which is going to make this campaign very tedious. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I actually kind of like the challenge that this is presenting, especially with the weather. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.